Well, welcome to another episode of Pro Raw in the Raw with me, Andrew Locke, and
Hello.
Powerlifting Champion, Yanni.
Yes.
Yanni,
Oh.
welcome to Pro Raw in the Raw.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you for having me on the show.
Now tell me, you've been at Pro Raw for a little while now. Is this your training base for a fair bit of time? What's the plans for you?
What's the plans for me? My next comp will be in December, which is soon.
Yeah, it is coming up.
What is it now? October.
Where's that comp and what's the comp going to be?
It's in Hong Kong.
Hong Kong, really?
Yeah, I know. It's a bit of a scary time to go to Hong Kong right now, isn't it?
That reminds me, Hong Kong Powerlifting Federation, we have chatted. You haven't contacted me back yet.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, we were talking about perhaps doing a seminar over there.
Oh,
So I'm going to be over in January.
Yeah. Well, Hong Kong's really not Hong Kong. Powerlifting's really starting to grow in Hong Kong, especially in the last, I'd say, 2 years,
Right.
since the
Where-
development of World Powerlifting, because World Powerlifting now has World Powerlifting Hong Kong, and they're hosting the Asia Oceanias in December, which is the competition I'm competing in.
Now, how many years have you been training for?
Since the start of 2014.
Right, what started you on your journey? How did it all begin, Jan?
How did it all begin?
Yeah,
My mate from high school, he did study at Melbourne University, and
Yep.
Melbourne University has a powerlifting club there.
yep.
We used to muck around in the gym when we were in high school, and then we decided to go check out the Melbourne University Powerlifting Club.
I've even been there many years ago.
You've been there many years ago. Oh,
Yeah,
fantastic.
I did my master's degree at Melbourne Uni.
All right.
Yep.
Master.
Master in physiotherapy, yeah.
Oh.
So there you go.
They call it a doctor of physiotherapy.
There's now a
there
doctorate
now.
program as well.
Yeah.
It always changes.
Ah, right. Did you train at Melbourne University Powerlifting Club?
Actually, when I was doing my undergraduate degree, I was at a place called Lincoln, which is just down the road from Melbourne Uni.
Yeah.
And I went up there a couple of times. Yeah, I caught up with Robert Wilkes there a few times over the years.
Oh man, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I first walked into the powerlifting club, I had no idea who Robert Wilkes was.
No.
I was like, who is this old man? Why is he telling me to lift things? He's so old.
And that's where it began, at Melbourne Uni for you.
Yeah, that's where it all began. Wilkes made me and my friend do a few test lifts, and then he said, you guys are competing next month. So we did a 4-week training cycle and went straight into a competition. I had no idea what was going on.
I hope you got video of that still.
I have a couple of videos.
It'd be really interesting to have a look at how you developed then from then until here we are now.
I know. At my first comp, it was down at Hawthorn.
Yep.
And the coach, not the coach, referee was Stephen Pritchard. I don't know if
course,
you know
yes, yeah.
Stephen Pritchard. And I went up to him and I asked him, excuse me, which lift goes first?
Good work.
So I had no idea. He just looked at me so confused. He's like, who is this nuff nuff? He's like, the Scot. I said, thank you.
How good's that? 4 weeks in and first comp comes up.
Yeah.
Really, what a great thing, what a great journey to be able to have documented too. What things have changed for you then over all these years? How's that to walk into a comp 4 weeks and really just being totally blissfully unaware of what the hell to do? And now you know very well what you're doing. Well, what's happened on the journey?
Well, sometimes I still feel a little bit clueless, to be honest. Like, every single competition is different. It's never the same.
Quite so.
But hopefully the numbers go up and up each comp.
Their training blocks take longer than 4 weeks now.
Yes, they certainly do.
So,
And they change all the time. Some are longer, some are shorter. Just
Yeah.
depending on what else I have going on in life.
Good. Now,
as
who's
well.
looking after your coaching at the moment then?
Wilkes. It's always been Wilkes.
Good. So there it
Yeah.
is. So he's changed from a 4-week block to different things now.
Yes, yes. Well, my next training block's only about 8 weeks. I only started the training block last week
Yep.
because I only just decided that I wanted to do the Hong Kong competition. And my main motivation for doing it is because everyone else is doing it and I just want to go for fun and eat lots of food.
What a great thing. Now, do you get to Hong Kong very often, China very often? Whereabouts are you originally from? Where'd you start?
Started in Nanjing, which
Yep.
is a city in mainland China.
Yep.
Was born there, came to Australia when I was 1, just a baby.
Yep.
First language was Mandarin. So
Wow.
when I started primary school in Australia, I had no idea what the teachers were saying. But because I was young, I just picked up the language very quickly.
Yep.
But then I forgot all my Mandarin.
Really?
Yeah. And now that I'm older again, I'm trying to learn the language again.
And do you go back to mainland China very often at all?
Yeah, I've
Yep.
been back quite a few times. I still have family, cousins and uncles and aunties
Naturally,
there.
yeah.
Yeah.
And Hong Kong occasionally as well?
Yeah, every now and then. I went in November last year because they hosted a competition there. So I was just helping out there and going back again this year to actually compete.
It's great to have such good relationships to be able to work. It is a worldwide community we've got.
Oh, definitely.
Where have you competed so far in all your competitions? So we started in Melbourne with a 4-week competition in Hawthorn.
Yes.
Where else have you been?
I've been to Finland for the IPF World Championships in 2015. And then end of 2015 we have the Asia Oceanias in Uzbekistan.
Right.
Yeah, I know, that was quite the experience. I've never heard of the country before that.
Really?
Yeah.
You hadn't seen the Borat movie?
No, he talks about Kazakhstan.
I think Uzbekistan was the ones across the border who we was making fun of.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe.
Yeah.
I can't remember. And then in 2016, it was in Killeen, Texas.
Yep.
And then end of 2016 was a Asia Oceania Championship in New Zealand. Yep. And then 2017, the Worlds was in Belarus.
Yes.
And then in October 2017, I had the National Australian Championships. And then the day after the National Championships, I went to see the doctor because I was feeling a bit sick. And then they're like, "You have cancer." And I was like, "Oh shit."
What an amazing quick diagnosis that was then.
Yeah, well, it took a couple of days to get the results.
Yeah.
Went to the GP and she didn't know what was wrong with me.
What were the symptoms you were feeling at that time? What was your challenges?
Honestly, I just thought I was really fatigued from competing,
Yep.
preparing for my competition. And also I had lots of assignments to do at the time as well for uni.
Yeah.
And I thought I was just getting really unfit because I never do cardio. And I would be so puffed out walking upstairs. And I was like, oh, I should probably start doing some cardio.
Yeah.
But then after the national championships, I was just completely out of it.
Yep.
I was so buggered. My lymph nodes were completely swollen. You could just see them sticking out of my neck. And I had a throbbing headache that wouldn't go away.
Yep.
And everyone was like, "You should go see the doctor." I was like, "All right, fine."
Good
So
idea.
then, went to see the doctor. She didn't know what was wrong with me, but she ordered a blood test.
Yep.
And then the following day, they urgently called me back. They're like, "You have to go to emergency." And I was like, "What's wrong?" So they're like, "You probably might have cancer or leukemia."
Yes.
Went to the emergency. They did lots of blood tests, and they couldn't believe it either because I was so young and fit and healthy. However, the blood test results pretty much confirmed the leukemia, but still had to get a bone marrow biopsy.
Right. When was this? What date was this? We're looking around about
Mid-October 2017.
Right.
And we're in mid-October
October
now.
2019. There we
Yeah,
are.
2 years
2
on.
years.
Yeah.
So what was the journey from there for you? What happens?
What happened? I had to stay in hospital for a couple of months and get lots
Couple
of
of months.
Well, like 3 weeks, and then
Yeah.
1 week home, and then another 3 weeks, and another week home, and then in and out of hospital for another month, and then back to uni.
Wow.
Yeah.
So when was the all clear given for you then?
February 2018.
Wow, that was really a very intense time then.
Oh yeah.
And what did you reflect on with your powerlifting journey and everything else that came at you at that point? What carried you through with strength?
Well, my friends and my family, and also the powerlifting community as well.
Yes?
Everyone from the club came and visited me, which was really nice.
Superb.
And even I had friends from overseas and interstate send me messages and send me cards and gifts as well, which was
So
really
this makes a
sweet.
really good difference when someone's ill, to know that the support's really there. The contact makes a big difference.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so physically I was like almost dying, but mentally I had so much support, which, pushed me through.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now here it is. So then it was February 2018.
Yeah.
And
And
when
then
did
straight
you-
back into the gym.
Good, I better say, when did you pick up the bar next?
Yeah, it was as soon as I came out of hospital.
Yes.
I was literally just a blob. Like, I hadn't touched a weight for ages. And I was so weak, so out of shape. Everything was hard. Obviously, I didn't go straight into a powerlifting cycle straight away. My main priority was to just regain my fitness as a whole.
Fitness as in not cardio.
Oh, well, anything over 5 reps is cardio,
It is.
as people say.
Good. So where did you train at then when you were doing your recovery? What did you do? Anywhere you wanted to train, no pressure?
Yeah, just a bit of everything. Just
to move.
enjoyed training. Yeah, just getting back into it.
And your next competition after getting clearance and getting you back, what did you do?
That was the Junior Nationals in August
August.
of 2018.
Nice.
So that's a 6-month training cycle. Yeah.
And now tell me, from 2018 to now,
Yeah.
it's almost a year later.
Yeah.
How's everything been going training-wise? How's it all been running?
Yeah,
Improving?
my numbers are like 95% back to where they were before. Yeah.
All right. So are you looking to hit that 100% now for December?
Wow, my bench is already 100%.
Or more than 100%?
Yeah. So I'll be looking for a PB hopefully. Squat
Beautiful.
and deadlift, they can take their time. Because for the past 2 months, I haven't really been training properly either.
No?
No, I was busy trying to finish university.
And what are you doing at university?
Health and physical education. That's a teaching degree.
Good. Now, is that
Yeah.
your goals as a career outside of powerlifting? Or have you got other things you're looking for? What else is driving you on?
Oh, that's a very good question. What am I doing with my life?
Because we often do this. I mean, as a professional, it's changed for me so much too.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
go
really?
in,
What did you start
you
with?
go in with an expectation of what you want to do, and sometimes it changes. So I started with perhaps with the idea of sports as well. I was looking at, and then it moved on towards did insurance work in America, examining people's capacity to work,
Yeah.
and then I learned about psychological aspects of pain. So that interests me. But then it's come to full circle now that I just deal with weight training injuries.
Oh, fantastic.
So it's a journey as a professional. And what about you? What takes you forwards?
Well, I'm not looking that far into the future yet.
Yep.
I'm just looking at the near future. So first thing is I'm going to have my fingers crossed that I passed on my assessments.
Yep.
So then I can leave uni and hopefully never go back.
There you go.
Next year, I'm not looking to work full time as a teacher. I might do some casual relief teaching.
Yes.
My methods are physical education and health and also mathematics as well.
Well, it all
Yeah.
becomes useful. It must help you with your biomechanics then.
From time to time.
You see things, yeah.
Yeah. And I might work in the gym some more as well.
Good. Which
Yeah.
gym are you going to work in?
Well, I currently work at a swimming pool gym.
Yes.
I just do some floor shifts there. I haven't really taken personal training too seriously
Sure.
because I've been focusing on my own life.
What a good thing to focus in on.
Yeah.
Huh? So powerlifting has become a nice focus at this point for you for the next comp.
At this time, well, yeah, now
Yeah.
that I've finished all my uni assessments, training for comp and also doing a bit of traveling too.
All right.
I'm going to Taiwan tomorrow.
Oh, really? You've travelled so much already. I mean, as far as
Yeah.
this sport's taking you along a lot of
Yeah.
places.
Yeah, and it's only since after after getting sick that I've been doing a bit of traveling that's not related to powerlifting, and it feels nice.
So where are you off to?
Taiwan.
Taiwan.
So it's not a powerlifting trip,
No.
but at the same time, I'm excited to go visit some powerlifting gyms.
All right. And what's taking you to Taiwan as far as that being your choice?
My friend, she's going for work.
Yep.
And I said, oh, I want to go to Taiwan. She's like, yeah, come. So then I said, okay,
It's always a good one.
yeah. And now here I am, going to Taiwan with her.
And anywhere in the world that you're looking forward to getting to that you haven't been to yet, that you look at and think,
Oh my gosh, I really want to go to Japan.
okay.
I have not been yet.
Yep.
Have you been to Japan?
No.
Oh, you haven't been to Japan?
No, I actually got rejected from the Sumo Association. It's a long but very true story. But
Wait, tell us the story.
well, before I was a physio, I
Yeah.
actually was doing a massage course to get good hands-on work. And there was a Japanese guy there who spoke as much English as I did Japanese, but we both knew the word sumo. I was pretty big, and he thought that I wanted to become a sumo wrestler. So he actually wrote a letter to the Sumo Association on my behalf, asking if I could become a sumo and setting it all up for me. And I got this wonderful rejection letter from the Japanese Sumo Association on
Yeah.
cultural grounds that they didn't think I could handle the diet. Very
yeah, they eat like 20,000 calories a day or something. Something
It can
ridiculous.
be pretty intense, and I think it is a tough journey. But the sumos have opened up a little bit to a few different people these days. So there you are. I actually have my official rejection letter from the Sumo Association.
Wow. Oh, I'd like to see you do a sumo wrestle.
I don't think so. I'll leave that to some of the super heavies.
I wonder how many injuries sumo wrestlers get, because they have so much natural padding.
They do, and of course
That's another way of calling them fat.
they have a nice low centre of mass as well, which is really useful. But one of the things that really intrigues me about, say, the sumos is, of course, we have our sumo powerlifting styles, is that
Yes.
it has that shallow hip socket. And so, of course,
yeah.
anyone who wants to be a sumo wrestler, you're going to need a shallow hip socket.
Yeah.
And that's the difference in the genetics that happens too.
Asians naturally have.
Should have, but not all of them do.
Oh, yeah.
So you get
Okay.
some of them who have, strangely enough, you get someone who's got a really tight hip socket. And that will dictate, of course, the way they're going to lift as well.
Yeah.
And it does. What's your favourite lifting styles? Do you integrate everything?
What's my favourite lifting style?
Yeah.
As
Do you
in-
enjoy sumo? Or do you enjoy conventional?
Well, I'm stronger in conventional,
Yep.
but I do like doing sumo just for fun.
All right.
Yeah.
Not so much as an accessory, but just more as a bit of fun.
Yeah, well, obviously when I'm doing my main training cycle, I don't do any sumo.
Yep.
Like after a training cycle, I might add some sumo in. And I did do one competition sumo because I injured my back and I couldn't train conventional, so I just
Yes.
thought, oh, I'll do sumo instead. Yeah.
And you found it worked.
It worked, but I'm not as strong. However, when I'm doing sumo, I'm not as fatigued, like from a day-to-day basis, and squats feel a lot better, and life feels a lot better. Because conventional, it just takes the life out of, I think, everyone.
Well, you're young in the journey anyway at the moment. Who knows what things could happen for you?
Yeah,
You know, there's a lot to experiment with and a lot to play with.
definitely.
And sometimes, as we change and get stronger, we find our techniques do change.
Oh yeah, my tech, oh my gosh. When I look at my training videos from when I first
Yeah.
started powerlifting, I cringe so much.
What do you find the biggest differences when you look at them? What sort of flaws would you have seen in your early technique work?
Well, for deadlifts, I used to start with my hips really low, and my hips would just shoot up as soon as I came off the floor.
Right.
And then my back would be super rounded. And,
Sounds like it, yep.
and that would make my lockout really hard
Yep.
as well. And now I start with my hips high and my back's generally a lot flatter, and the lockout is so much easier.
So you find a lot more tension now in your lift before you lift now.
Yeah, definitely.
Before it was just a squat lift, huh?
A little bit.
Yeah, and then the hips would come up. Yeah, which we see in most people who do start that way.
Yeah.
And then you start to learn how to find your tightness
Yeah.
before you lift.
Yeah.
So
It's been a long journey of learning how to do one lift.
and bench for you though. What your favourite lift?
Yeah, one of my favourites. I never used to like the bench press because it was so weak.
Yeah,
When my first comp, I benched 77.5.
that's not too weak.
Oh.
Compared to where you are today, perhaps it is.
Yeah. And then I was stuck on 85 kilos for ages.
Mhm.
And then I added a secret day of benching into my program, and I didn't tell my coach.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden I benched like 100 kilos.
Well, I'll let you do a little story about this.
Yeah.
Is Bev Francis, who was the,
Oh yes, I know.
of course,
I don't know her, but I know of her.
Yeah, this first Australian lifter, well, the first female to ever bench 300 pounds. And I know Bev fairly well from over the years, and I sat next to Bev one day and said, so Bev, how did you ever bench 300 pounds? How did you ever break the barrier?
Yeah.
And she said, I benched, squatted and deadlifted 7 days a week. Now, she
Okay.
didn't max out. What she's really talking about there is she practiced 7 days a week.
Yeah.
She took basically a track and field approach to powerlifting.
Yeah.
And that meant she would put a bar on her back and she'd squat, she'd deadlift, she'd bench. Now she might be training one of them hard, but the other two she'd practice. I think that's what you found. You got the skill going through adding the extra work. So,
Yeah.
so sometimes I think we look at things and see the training block, but outside that, there can be the practice blocks.
Yeah. So you have your heavy days and your light days as well.
Yeah,
Practice technique.
and on the other ones, practice. Put 20% on the bar. Work on your skill. Work on what you're feeling. And that was Bev's sort of message, was practice. You know, because if you're a tennis pro, you don't just hit the cover off the ball 1 day a week and come back 7 days later and do it again.
Yeah.
You'll have no technique.
Yeah.
You'll practice but you won't hit the cover off the ball 7 days a week. You'll practice your skill, practice your components, which I think is a big part of how we get a skill acquisition, which makes our lifting better. So a lot of the bodybuilding mentality sometimes comes in and says you've got to rest 4 days, 5
Yeah.
days. Yeah, you're resting from the volume and intensity, but you still can practice.
Yep, definitely.
So you never know. It could be part of the plan for you then. Put a bar in your hands every day.
Well, for some people, time is also a constraint.
There's a rumour about that, yeah.
And also for some people, laziness is a bit of a constraint as well.
Well, that's why we take up powerlifting.
Yeah. Well, my coach, Wilkes, he said I'm a really good powerlifter because I'm so lazy.
The ideal powerlifter, perhaps.
Maybe.
This is great for you. Then it's good to see you down here at Pro Raw, enjoying the facilities here as well.
Oh, definitely. The equipment here, state of the art. There's nowhere in the world that compares.
Yeah,
actually.
Ema has really got such a great passion for it.
Although there's no combo racks here.
We can chat to him.
That's the only thing that's missing. But everything else, wow.
And for yourself, how's the food preps, the diets, and everything work for you within getting ready for comps? How do you get prepared?
Well, generally I sit above my competition weight. I usually compete in under 84s.
Yep.
If I'm really slack with dieting, then I just compete in the heavy weight class.
That sounds very less stressful.
But if I try and cut down to 84s, then
Yep.
I will probably eat 2 scoops of ice cream instead of 3.
All right,
Yeah.
you've got a good approach there.
Just
And what is your
reduce-
favourite ice cream? Do you have a
Oh my
favourite or a
God.
couple?
Well, my favourite ice cream store is Peter Pipo.
Whereabouts is that?
They have one on Lygon Street and
Yeah.
another one on Chapel Street.
Yep.
It's really dangerous because Lygon Street is walking distance from Melbourne University.
Yep.
So finish training and then just walk to the ice cream store.
And what flavours do you tend to head for?
The salted caramel there is really good.
All right, that sounds insane. Yep.
And the brewed ice creams, what are they called? Gelato.
Sorbets.
Sorbets, that's
Yep.
it, yeah. Oh, the sorbets there, they taste like the actual fruit. So it kind of tastes like you're being healthy.
And is there a flavour you don't go for no matter what?
No, there's not.
You can have a go at anything. That's pretty
yeah. Messina ice cream's also really amazing as well.
good. Oh, where's that one?
They have one on Smith Street and another one on Swan Street and another one on Chapel Street.
Right, so perhaps Pro Raw's got to go out one day and do the on the road with yourself and the ice cream hunting.
You know, I was so disappointed the other day when I did the hot chip challenge downstairs.
You did the hot chip challenge.
Yeah.
Well, how'd you find that? Because it's a bit of an interesting challenge. It's got quite a bit of
You know
spice.
what? If someone's trying to water load, doing the chip challenge is really good. Because after I ate 1 chip, I drank like 4 litres of water. So if you're trying to water load, eat that spicy corn chip.
Did it have a little bit more intensity than you expected to run into? Or were you
Yeah.
expecting it?
At first I was like, oh, it's a bit spicy. And then a few minutes later, it hit me. My eyes were watering and then my nose was running and then my tongue was burning. I was like, I need ice cream. And there was no ice cream here.
There's no ice cream here at all. Best
I
thing to do
know.
is a bit of protein powder.
Yeah.
It's as milky as it gets. Yeah, that's a classic. So Sam's always putting the hot chip challenge up,
Yeah.
and you've taken it. Well done.
But next time, I
Yep.
think it actually would taste pretty good with some guacamole or maybe some sour cream.
All right. Well, I recommend this for the end of year party here. We'll get the hot chips and guacamole.
Yes, we should get some extra portaloos as well then.
There'll be a challenge in here for sure. Well, it's been great to catch up. Your journey's looking really good. Look forward to seeing your progress over the year.
Thank you.
And we'll all keep in touch. Now, you're on Instagram. People can catch up and see your training.
Oh yes, you can catch me on Yanstach, Yanstah.
All right. Great. Well, we'll certainly catch up. Thanks for coming in today.
Thanks for having
And
me.
train hard.
Thank you.